Hello everyone and welcome to our Let's Play series of Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that it chose to join me today here in the Fifth Eye as as she paces back and forth and we try to figure out exactly how to complete the quest that she asked us to. Last episode we talked to Feriok over here, and he didn't really want to, to join the endless battle, but I'm still gonna try and do that. We're gonna talk to Leto over there, and then we're gonna go and talk to these guys over here as well. Theboros, Dama, the Bloom of the Bloom. So maybe we're gonna be able to ask what the Bloom is. But yeah, last episode we also slept, which is something very, very important, and as such, we have arrested. Really? It's a fatal. How does? What?
Here.
I know.
Now.
Shut up. What? How is that active until the next sleep? It says temporary conditions that I know what fettles are, but it's weird that it's active for the whole sleep, right? Anyway, let's have a chat here with Leto and see what he has to say. Oh, it's a woman, sorry. Though this woman's face is young, she has been beaten hard by the sun. She wears a tight-fitting skin suit under loose desert robes. Her eyes are a deep and unsettling black, with no whites to be seen. Occasionally, streaks of light race across them, flashing in the shadows of her hood, like stars plummeting from the sky. "I am Leto," she says. "I saw you coming. You're coming." Wait, yeah, that's what she says. Not you coming. You're coming. Now you are here. I will remind you that this is a bar for psychics, so this probably connects with that particular detail. Leto's mind is inscrutable. Your thoughts reflect back at you from 1,000 angles, like shining a light onto a mirrored ball. So, what can you tell me about yourself, Leto? "To the northeast," she says, "in the middle of the Lost Sea, there is a small town called Jerboa. Dwarfed by the magnificence of the oasis of Mrajolios, Jerboa is a poor town dependent on the charity of its neighbor." And she nods to the bartender, and he refills her drink, floating a bottle through the air without touching it. Because that's what he does. Became hanged a little bit. "I was born in the slums," she says. "The Gibra, residents of the city, would sometimes tour our ghetto. One of them saw my eyes and declared me touched by their god, Nikul. They taught me the deep secrets of their church and showed me how to comprehend the tapestry in my mind. But one day I saw a light flare in Sagas Cliffs. Though this city and mine suffer hostilities, I knew that I must brave those dangers, for I saw the darkening storm." She grips your sleeve. "I see the futures. I will not be able to return home, but I arrived in time to aid Dama in his struggle against the adversaries. For a time I was able to read the strands to help our team prepare against the adversaries' attack, but they learned to cloak themselves against me, and all I could see of their intent was a generalized darkness. I am of little use against the adversaries now, but I remain to help against the other foes." Oh, so maybe, I mean, she's probably not going to be of help in the endless battle. Is the adversary, because if I remember correctly, the adversaries are the other side, excuse me, the followers of the first cast-off. So I'm thinking that the endless battle is going to play a prominent role in the main plot of this game. We'll see. We'll see. It could be just a big quest that we are involved in or something, not necessarily the main quest or the main plot. So what can you tell me about the people here? "I know the stories of my comrades in arms, their past and their future. I have a deep bond with Ziob, a friendship with Theboros. My respect for Dama knows no limits, and I have found recollections of Feriok's ready wit." She shakes her head. I wish I could unravel the skein of perception and live in the present as do so many others, but it is not to be, and so I scramble across the web of time and know the threads of my friends." She makes it sound like it's a lonely business because she can never really truly know them, or how? What? What can you tell me about the adversaries? She spits on the ground. "I waste water speaking of them. I do not know what they are, but I know that what they represent. They are the death of possibility, an existential threat to humanity. They sweep minds into themselves, consume individuality and worship power, and they have learned to counter mine. I am helpless against them." So, can you tell me any stories about your friends? That'd be good. Maybe I could convince them a little bit better. What about Feriok? Let's try with that. A seer of pain and love, she says. A great light, his powers speech and attraction. An empath, a weaver of hope and reconciliation. The story I love most is this. An angry citizen comes, threatening violence, and Feriok eats his pain and makes a new man in his place. In those old strands, Feriok is my friend. And you mind, Leto, he says. Okay, what about Dama? We haven't talked to those guys yet. He is the lodestone, the overglass, the light that lifts and the rope that binds. His strength is our strength, and through him we become stronger. He is the caller, the bringer, the tactician and the strategist. He brings us to this place, and in the future, he is gone. She does not see you as she speaks, though. The unseen adversary claims him, unless... No, the probabilities are too low. She shakes her head, bringing herself back to the present. Is he still here? And she lashes a glance towards a man in a blue shirt and breathes a sigh of relief. Okay, I guess I understand what she means, though, but she's traveling in time. She's... Tell me about Ziob. She gives herself too little credit, she says. During the Cobalt Breach, she erects a shield around her company and fires precise bolts of telekinetic rage into the attacker. She destroys their inhuman captain, hurling him from the walls into dark space, and then dismembers the attackers who have come for me. In that day, she is my hero. She is the only one of us who can touch the physical world so completely. And when Dama dies, she stands to unite us. No, wait. This isn't real. Not yet. And she slaps herself lightly and mutters, "Walk in this world, Leto. This world alone." Okay, what about Theberos? He follows the trail of the words of Kra. He finds the dead village. In his mind, he seals the words, and they chew him to pieces until his brain has lost their knowledge altogether. And she looks across the bar to the old man. No, that is a past possibility. That is not this reality. His mind is still intact. His stories still resonate. Is this the world in which he buries the last of the words of Kra? But he's the man who helps plan our battlefields. He shapes our expectations. It is he who brings the first adversary low. It shows him a story, and he tells it a better one. It bows to his vision before it knows his strength, and he traps it. He is a hero to this reality, although he knows it not. Huh, that's interesting. And she shakes her head. I have spoken all the stories I will tell. Okay, so can you tell me about the, can you tell me more stories about about your colleagues? Nope, she cannot. A being named O, yeah, that's right. A being named O is here, or was here, is here. Wait a minute, yeah, he is. He said I was the only one who could see him, though. But he's here to give you a vision. It says you will be the mother of empires. She stares at you, her mouth opening slightly. Her eyes flicker across the bar, landing on no one in particular. I have not yet received the vision, and... A mother? Me? She shakes her head. I am barren. I will give no life. She pauses. Her hands are shaking. She whispers, I see only a stain when I look at myself. Nothing more. A miasma occludes my vision of myself. Well, it could be this place, although... How did you know I'd be coming here? Skeins of lives weave together in a tapestry. Your thread glows, it emerges from the sky, and a great darkness follows in your wake. She waves a hand as if pushing through cobwebs. I have seen you. Where you go, that is beyond my powers. Your powers? Can you tell me anything about the people I travel with? Ask, and I will tell. Yeah, what about Aligern? She turns her unsettling gaze on the man. Your regrets will destroy you, she says. You carry your pain and your salvation, but you do not look closely enough to recognize the truth. Open yourself, hold your scars tight, and you might emerge whole at the end of your ordeals. Aligern growls. Typical soothsayer platitude. Tell me what I need to know, or don't tell me anything. I think she just did. The future's light is not reducible to simple words, she says. Or actually, yeah, it's Leto talking. Not everything conforms to the science you treasure, priest. I have told you what you need to know. It is up to you to seize its truth, or let it fall to the ground, unheeded. Let's see. Open yourself, hold your scars tight. So accept his loss. He lost something, a memento. Yeah, it's you guys remember him talking about his scars as if they were a memento or a thinking. I'm starting to mix all the memories together. He either said that or he thought that, but his scars are probably what that means. The future conforms. No, this one over here. You carry your pain and salvation, but do not look closely enough. Hold your scars tight. It's quite literally the scars, and I was going for more of a non-literal interpretation of that, but it might be either way. I don't know. Let's see. What about Tibir? For the Gallow Glass, I have only one prediction. Change your ways, or leave with your regrets forever. Forever? That's a long time, my dear, and I'm told nothing lasts that long. She turns her head towards him and looks away, shivering. I have spoken. Oh. I think this might be a little bit more mundane than you might think at first. So I'm looking for warriors to join Clarion in the endless battle. She thinks you'd be a valuable ally.
I'll remember that.
Dama is still here, is he not? I follow his lead. He believes one of our old foes is still present in the city. If he believes it, I do as well. I will not abandon him should he need me. Oh man, I'm being attacked by hiccups. As you wish. I'll see you later. Yeah, oh boy, hiccups indeed. I will murder them. Just like that. Just hold my breath, and it's gone. Unfortunately, it was my hiccups this time around. It could have been my characters like in Baldur's Gate, but no. It had to be me. Anyway, let's have a chat with Dama. I think he might, I think he might be the one that I need to talk to more than anybody for right now. Let's see. The wispy mustache on this pudgy, middle-aged man would be almost comical if it weren't for his deep and despairing eyes. They are the eyes of a man who has passed through the gates of alien hells and returned, though not necessarily whole. His fingers, tightly wrapped around some fine glassware, are strong and slim. A musician's fingers, or a strangler's. You can't read his thoughts at all. You might as well try to read the thoughts of a wall. Before you open your mouth to speak, he says, "What is that place in your head?" Okay, so he can see my thoughts, but I can see his. It's a labyrinth. I mean, in this situation, you probably should trust the guy immediately, because if he hasn't killed you, he probably won't kill you anyway. A labyrinth? He raises an eyebrow and leans back in his seat. That's a novel construction. He starts ticking items off on his fingers. I've seen people construct psychic fortresses, cathedrals, graveyards, hellscapes, and vortices from which no lives escape. All dramatic places, all powerful, and all forbidding. But a labyrinth? Well, that's a whole different construction. That speaks of cunning and guile. Do you mind if I take a quick look? Seems like a place, a strange thing to carry and not know anything about. His voice is polished and clean. Friendly, but intent. Yeah, go ahead, please. My thanks. Though it's not often the wisest choice to let strangers enter your mind. I'll not do you any harm. Might help even. He smiles to... Yeah, that's my hope, actually. He smiles to take the sting out of his words. Ready? He breathes in, and suddenly you feel... You are a mote tucked inside a gigantic prism, with eyes peering in at you from all around. You are held tightly in an enormous fist. You are a flimsy piece of glass held up to the light, yet somehow it is not utterly terrifying. His words come to you as if from a distance. A shared space? Such depths, such twists. It builds itself around your experiences, around those who share it with you. Shared spaces are occasionally dangerous, so I sharpened a part of your mind. His voice draws closer, and the pressure eases. I didn't probe deeply, but this would be an excellent battleground. If you lured a foe to you... If you lured a foe to you, he says, you could trap it within your mind. You could destroy it. Oh, introductions, yes. Are you gonna tell me your name? But my intellect has just gone up by 1. I wonder... I mean, I guess in this game you really need intellect above anything else, or, you know, as a general rule. It's not giving me edge, it's just giving me the maximum, the pool, but, because every single thing that we have done so far, I guess, I mean, I've been role-playing my character to that extent, just to be a little bit more intellectual, but this is kind of a general choice here. I mean, I just trusted him because he read my mind and he didn't kill me right ahead, or try to kill me anyway. So, you know, you have to trust somebody like that, right? He sets the... I mean, with great power comes great responsibility, and that works not just, you know, for your responsibility, but also, you can if somebody has great power, that's... I mean, I think deep down in all of us, really, as humans, the ones of us that have that don't have a problem with authority, or what I mean is, if you know somebody that's really powerful, you tend to respect them, right? But why? Why do you do that? Is it admiration? Or is it really just because that you know they could, they have great power, but they still choose to either be with you, to trust you, to be your friend, or to not kill you, depending on what the situation that it is. So I think it's innate in us to see somebody that's really powerful and just revere it, or revere him. So I think that's what I went with. I don't know, I'm just trying to explain why I chose to let him into my mind. I'm Dama, he says. Dama of the Bloom. Can I ask about the Bloom? That's really interesting. I want to know about that. He pinches the bridge of his nose, his eyes tightly shut, and you feel a gentle and powerful presence surround your consciousness. I have a request for you. It might seem strange, but you have an interesting topography to your mind. You might be able to help us. The Fifth Eye is home to psychic veterans. We fought an incursion of, nightmares, I suppose. Nightmares slithering into the city's shared dream space, eating minds and leaving husks behind. We called them the adversaries. We burned them out and cauterized the wounds through which they infected our reality. But I can't shake the nagging feeling that one of them survived and waits to strike. I trust my intuition, and now it's telling me to ask for your help. Oh, so that's what he was doing, maybe, while pinching his nose. Yeah, I'd be happy to help. What do you need to do? What do I need to do? He breathes a sigh of relief. My thanks. I feel the adversary. I know it's here. I know it's close. It's watching us, but it's hiding its presence, and I fear it will strike when our guard is down. It may well be in the Fifth Eye even now. Well, there's O. Or there's that lady over there. And there's also the ghostly woman on the on the right side of this place. I can't point it out right now, but he shrugs helplessly. Sadly, our Fifth Eye is blind. He jerks a thumb at the bartender. It might be that our foe has blinded us, but it might not have shielded itself from you. Look for it, and tell me if you find something unusual. Yeah, I did. I found... Oh, can I tell you about it? I think I might have a lead on... Oh, no, first let's talk about the rest of the stuff, because I don't want to lock myself out of any dialogue choices. So tell me about yourself. I told you they call me Of the Bloom. I was born there, and I knew nothing of the world outside for the longest time. I thought it was normal to play in passages made of gut and tissue, to hide from slavers in diverticula, whatever that is, to watch visitants staggering in from other worlds. I learned how to read people there, and how to understand them. And one day I left the Bloom and came to Sagas Cliffs, and I discovered the world was a different place than I thought. A better place. That's when I learned to fight. That's why I learned to fight. He gestures at himself. This isn't a warrior's body, of course. Not in the usual sense. He smiles, and a great pressure swells in your head and vanishes before you can even register alarm. Oh boy, that... Crap! Please don't do that. It's like you just realize that you're about to die after you are no longer about to die. That's such a terrible feeling. That's such a terrible feeling. I've had it a couple of times in my life, and it's pretty bad. Oh boy. Well, it's not, I guess it kind of makes you grow a little bit as well, especially if you have those early on in life. But I wouldn't know what that would be like, being a full-grown man and just having that happen to me, especially in such a weird thing. I guess my character knows a little bit better about just mind control and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm not usual, he says. No one in the Fifth Eye is. We're psychics, psionics, seers. Call us mind benders or thought rippers. But we're warriors. We keep the minds of Sagas Cliffs safe from threats they don't even imagine. The old man growls. Oh, they'd go crazy if they did, says Theberus. That's the old man. Not that they're exactly paragons of sanity at the best of times. Yeah, this actually reminds me a lot of a dream. What was the name of him in Mask of the Betrayer? One of the expansions for Neverwinter Nights 2. It was a sort of dreamwalker, I think. Dreamstalker, sleepstalker. I don't know, but he was quite an interesting character. I don't remember his name though. I remember he was all blue and it was all weird. Anyway, so what is this place? Tell me about the Fifth Eye. This? Huh. Well, I might think of it as a retirement home or a veterans hospital. It wasn't always this way. Look around you. He gestures at the pipes and the disused machinery. There's a reason we're here. Ask your questions. Do you know the history of the Fifth Eye? Well, the psychically sensitive have been hiding here for generations. The endless battle, the Cobalt Breach, the Rising Blood, all the great psionic conflicts have victors and defeated. But more importantly, they have the wounded, the veterans. The scars of 1,000 mental battles sleep away here. We can't let our guard down. And he drinks. And so we do. It's a long history. I should write it down sometime, but I'm feeling lazy. Yeah. Can you, let's ask about something else. Actually, wait a minute. Tell me what you know about the fifth eye, because there was the first... Oh, there it is. Can you tell me about the nature of the fifth eye? What did you mean when you said it was a veterans hospital? He raps on the nearby wall. It's a solid sound, no vibration. We don't know what this place was, he says, though the pipes and the machinery make it seem like a kind of pumping station, but what it is to us is, and then his mind whispers in yours, sanctuary. A crawling sensation like insects under your scalp. This is what the outside world is. You see an image of the city. That's what the crawling sensation was. You see an image of the city beneath you, writhing with ribbons of light that flares in a million colors. Each of those ribbons is a thought, word, deed, and each calls out for attention, he says, or he thinks into my mind or something. His companions nod. Holy crap! That's quite interesting that his companions are listening in on his telepathic skills. He continues speaking, or maybe it's just... You know, telepathy is kind of an interesting thing, you know. Body language is kind of sort of like a telepathy. Not really, because our traditional way of looking at telepathy is just sort of like a mystical thing where words just pop into your mind. But that's not really how our minds work. Or at least, well, I'm sure some people might be like that. But hopefully for them, they don't keep like that. Because the mind, you don't need to think in words. Basically, you don't need, and you don't think in words. It's just you don't. You might not realize that you don't, but you don't think in words. And there's a lot of thoughts, and you can train your conscious mind to not think in words, and you can just. This might be a representation of that. Thought, word, deed might be just a representation of a thought that the text is translating. But he just gave me in a single moment. Excuse me. And words are, in effect, a sort of telepathy because it's just sounds, and if you don't understand the words. Or written or said, the thoughts don't go into your head. So really what it is words are sort of telepathy. So how you get telepathy done, he could be just transmitting, yes, he could be transmitting a sort of a magnetic field or something that resonates with my brain to activate the special neurons that just will activate the thoughts that he wants me to activate. But that's just highly unlikely because our brains are different from each other. You wouldn't know, unless he was, of course, a mystical, but he wouldn't know, scientifically speaking, if what I mean is if telepathy ever exists, it's not going to be like that because we wouldn't know what little neurons activate where and what, and because apparently the brains are just different in that regard. Our memories are stored in weird patterns, and nobody knows the other patterns. So you need something else. You need something for the brain to interpret, and it could be sound. It could be anything, really. It could be trained from a young age to understand telepathy. And what if, like Morse code with the eyes? What if somebody that doesn't even know what Morse code is just sees that as mythical, as a mythical thing, and just, oh, that's magic. Then the guy's just blinking at the other guy, and the other one is understanding what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's just like maybe maybe all he's doing is his hair is shifting in a way that my brain understands automatically for some reason, and those guys are also listening in because his brain is right there. His hair is right there, I mean. That's what I mean. Maybe his hair is talking to me. I don't know. I'm just conjecturing. Anyway, he continues speaking. When we're here, we can dampen that noise. The voices become voluntary. We can still listen, but it's not insistent. Whatever else this building is, it's shielded. Safe for our kind. So, of course, in this case, it seems that telepathy is more of an involuntary perception of the world, which doesn't, I mean, I'm not sure the writers thought of this like this, thought of the whole telepathy thing like this, because it's just a commonplace, it's a fictional problem to have in terms of telepathy, where you can't shut it out. But of course he's capable of forcing it upon me as well, even though I'm not trained in telepathy. I don't have that skill. I wonder what would it be, this conversation with that skill. That would be fantastic. The skills in this game are amazing. I love it. I love it! Anyway, tell me, I asked everything. Let's ask about something else, about the fifth eye, or not about the fifth eye. Tell me about the adversaries. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. A good question. Better if I show you. He closes his eyes, and you feel an insistent nudge in your mind. Then your vision goes black, replaced with a nightmare. You see a void, oblivion, a place where black stars hang and shriek with formless rage, violet lightning arcs through the sky, and you witness enormous, masses of postulant orbs raging against each other. Streams of conscious thought rocket from them, and they scream of need, desire, hatred. The other emotions arise with these wisps of mental energy that curl like steam. They brush your consciousness with a touch besmudged. Let's go with besmudged. It's easier to pronounce it. It's fancier. And also, I think this might not be a real word. I mean, I guess you can make words however you like, but yeah, whatever. They brush your consciousness with a touch besmudged with the unknowable hungers of an alien mind. These luminous wisps quest through invisible cracks in dimensional walls. And then he thinks, new worlds, unsuspecting minds, brilliant lights enfolded in the adversary's decaying orbits, imprisoned stars winking out forever. Yeah, that's what we learned before. Apparently the adversary is eating, or that's, I think, is it what he said before? That the adversary is just eating everything? Or everybody's mind or something. They came through the bloom, shining and tenebrous at the same time, he whispers. They offered games, reaches, promises for the future. I felt their passage and was afraid, and I hid my mind from their questing touch. I felt them reach for me, and I cowered in my shell. Ziob lays a hand on Dama's shoulders. Those who didn't hide saw the lure, she says, and they were drawn into that unwinnable mental game. Attracted by the light of the adversary's minds, they folded their own dreams into madness. Psychics and normal people alike, the ruin of the city's minds was... And she shakes her head. You were wise enough to see beyond the lure and into the danger. You couldn't stand against them yourself, and so you hid. We all did. Theberos growls. Not all. Some stood. They played the game and got cracked like glow globes. I felt them die, and their spirits got sucked into a vortex of endless fear. You did the right thing, Dama, and I've told you that before. Fine, fine, he replies, waving the words away. But you've seen what the adversaries are like now. Inhuman, with no negotiation. Maybe they're communicating with us and we don't understand them, but I tell you, if this is their hello, I don't want anything else to do with them. So those of us who survived that initial incursion gathered here. We set aside our differences and we fought back, but not without our own losses. So it could be... It's interesting that after all this fight with them, he still doesn't understand them. And it's interesting that he's ready to accept that they might be benevolent or try to be benevolent. And of course that harks back to other... it just reminds me of other fictions like Metro 2033 or something like that, which is an alien... I'm not going to spoil anything. I already did. I apologize! Sorry. So what are these adversaries? He doesn't know, does he? No, he doesn't. I don't know, he says. What we see isn't the world picture. We know that. It's an extrusion into our world. Just a piece of the creature's psychic material. Maybe it's a conscious unit on its own. Maybe it's self-directed. But my deepest fear is that every adversary we have seen is the smallest piece of a singular entity, and that our pushback is drawing its attention ever so slowly towards us. If you ever meet one, you'll know why that frightens me so. The adversaries. Could it be the sorrow? Can I ask him about the sorrow? But he didn't say anything when he saw my mind. It could be the sorrow, I think. How do you fight the adversaries? Are you thinking you might use your labyrinth to trap it? Don't. Don't do it. He steeples his fingers under his chin and considers. Though, wait. It might work. It might. He looks at Theberos and Ziob. They exchange a wordless communication and he shrugs. Yeah, we use the spotter, someone trained to recognize their scent. He'd give them the briefest engagement enough to whet their appetites, and he'd bring them to a battlefield of our choosing. The adversary will tempt you with something. It will tap into the parts of your mind you had forgotten, ignite a desire. It will offer bargains, tastes of power, and try to draw you towards its way of thinking. The key is to keep control of the imagery and the metaphors your minds can conjure together. That's where I come in, Theberos leans forward on the table, his gaunt face seeming even more drawn. I'd feed words and stories to our spotter. I'd feed words, and stories to our spotter, help him build an internal story that seemed to mirror what the adversary told, and I'd lay a pathway towards our battlefield. He'd walk down that pathway, and the adversary would be extruding itself into our world right alongside him. His smile is hard and feral, and then we'd close off the exits and get to work cutting it to pieces. So, tell a story, resist the adversary's metaphors, build in the details of your hardened mental space, draw it in, and then use your familiarity with a place to destroy the bastard. Dama swallows the rest of his drink. If you're going to try, and again, I can't emphasize enough that you should seek our help, but if you do it alone, gods, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you do it alone, be careful. I don't know. I don't know if he's talking about the sorrow. The thing is, if it is the sorrow, and if the sorrow is kind of like the main villain of our plot, and if we're supposed to kill the sorrow in this city, unless there's multiple ones, I'm not really sure. Or it could be as he's saying, it could be just a tip of a greater entity. Anyway, we are out of time for the day, so that's gonna be it for now. Farewell. A pleasure. Yeah, it really was. It really was. I'm really loving this place. I'm really loving this game, to be honest, but that's gonna be it for this episode because we're out of time. I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Torment, Tides of Numenera. I really hope you've enjoyed it, despite my ravings about all the nonsense and off-topic. It's not really completely off-topic, but I do apologize if you're uncomfortable with the sort of stuff that kind of deviates a little bit and extrapolates from the gameplay. And if you are, feel free to leave a comment down below. Just let me know, just all the time, if you have anything, suggestions, if you don't feel that you like a part of what I do. I only have to thank you for watching all the time and for giving me your feedback. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye!